forward to this.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Geeknd Live. We're going to chat about The Mandalorian, Chapter 19, The Convert, with me, Jamie Stangroom. Hope you're doing well, whoever you are, wherever you are on this football, the round type that we call planet Earth. We're going to have spoilers starting in just a few moments as we talk about this latest chapter of Mando. A couple of hellos to those who are in the live chat. I can see a lot of activity before we even got started. Patience, people. Peter, Glenn. I know there's more. Mr. Matthew Stokes. Clay Isaacson is here as well. And I saw Jane in the house. I know I saw Jane. There she is. Jane Flake's also here. And I think maybe I'm up to date. No, I'm not. Now I am. Power Droid Girl, hello to you. So a reminder that this is Chapter 19 of The Mandalorian that we'll be talking about for the coming moments in time. If you are, speaking of time, in the future, watching on the replay, then leave us a comment. Don't forget to hit the like button, whether you're here live or in the future. And let us know what you thought about this episode. I can see that Mr. Matthew Stokes has been in Munich. Hope the trip went well, Mr. Matthew Stokes. The Sarge is here, so pay attention, everybody. Stand to attention. The Sarge is in the house. All right, let me give you a few thoughts on my thoughts, on Chapter 19 of the Mandalorian. And then I'm going to head back over to the chat to see what the yous are saying. All right, so this was really surprising, almost dare I say, Andor-like episode of The Mandalorian. I'm not saying the writing is quite at that level, but it just had a bit of an Andor feel about it in terms of themes. You could say also that Mando got the Boba treatment with not appearing all too much in his own show. But you know what? I really like this episode, actually. It was a genuine surprise, a very refreshing one. And Mando and Bo was still part of it. They kind of bookended the episode, and it was all great stuff with them as well. But I really found the stuff with Dr. Pershing very interesting because this is a transition time, I suppose, in the galaxy, the New Republic. So it's really cool to see what's happening elsewhere in it. And I know there's books and stuff that expand, but for simpletons like me who don't read, can read. Kind of, but just don't. We didn't get much New Republic deets from the sequel trilogy, so it was great to see some of this and their failures as well. On one hand, you got to see Coruscant, which looked fantastic post Return of the Jedi, but also some of the failures of the New Republic. And not that I get off on that kind of stuff. I want the best for the New Republic and you as well. But it was still cool to see. And going back to the beginning of the episode, the dogfight with the TIEs was really good. And it was also there for a purpose with the plot, rather than just being shoehorned in because, porn, which added an extra layer of satisfaction to it for me. Really surprising episode. And it all still looks really great as well, even in this post-Andor Star Wars world. It all looks really good. And again, touring around Coruscant looked fantastic. Obviously, it was a different Coruscant we saw in Andor. This one was far more vibrant, colorful, lively, people out there enjoying life. Overall, very good episode. Interesting themes, unexpected character development for Dr. P and his conflict. Also got more on Bo's conflict as well, which is interesting. And we spent time with the other one from Gideon's ship. Can't remember her name, but the Imperial officer from Gideon's ship. It'll be interesting to see where this plot thread goes with her, if it's even in this show, let alone this season of The Mandalorian. Presumably she's still connected to whatever Moff G is up to. So best episode of the season so far for me. I know it's still early days. I'll give my score a little bit later, I suppose. I'm going to come back over to the chat. I did star a comment from quite earlier on before the stream had started from Mr. Matthew Stokes, who says, it seems the creators are going somewhere with cloning The Pershing element of the episode might seem like a waste now, but it's likely a small piece of a bigger picture. Yeah, I agree with that. And whether that bigger picture comes to pass in this season, let alone this show, The Mandalorian, we'll have to wait and see. But interesting. Right, I'm going to head back down to kind of where we are now in time. Peter's talking about pancakes for some reason. I don't know why. No idea. I hope you're okay, though, Peter, and I hope the pancakes are delicious, assuming that you are actually eating pancakes and not just talking about pancakes, which is fine if you are. I Am Supernaut says, I was a tad disappointed when the episode was all about Dr. Pershing. Not all about, but it's cool to see more of the Snoke Strand cast stuff. Yeah, it's interesting. It was the majority about, yeah, absolutely. But we did have bookends from Mando and Bo. And the limited time with them was really cool from an action point of view with the dogfight, as I talked about, but also seeing more of Bo's conflict that's coming to pass now. Will she be the one that converts to Mando's line of Mandalorians? We'll find out. Can see Glenn here as well. Oh, and Chad Campbell has made it into the chat. Speaking of chat, we did a chat batch the other day. We did it as a premiere, and I don't think it's been shown to people because it's got even less views than when we do a live stream. But me and Chad have not quite caught up on the Bad Batch yet. But we did do another video where we talked about 10, 11, and 12 episodes, those episodes. So go and check that out if you're interested in Bad Batch chat, the chat batch stuff. And we'll be doing one more to close out the series soon, the season soon. Jane Flake says, for any of you readers out there, I recently read the series of books that was chasing down Shadow Wing, and this episode felt like it led directly from them. Ella Kane, I assume that's the name of the Imperial officer. Okay, Elia Kane. Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Stokes. Thank you also, Chad, for taking up your normal duty of keeping time on this this outrageous stream that just cannot be tamed. Chad's drinking pancakes. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. I saw something from somebody. I've seen pancakes and St. Patrick's Day. Luckily, I've not seen the milking thing that has been popping up in the chat in previous weeks. Probably shouldn't have brought that up. Powerdroid Girl says, I didn't get why Pershing was allowed to do a TED Talk in the Opera Theatre Hall about cloning, but wasn't allowed to do anything relevant to his talents for the New Republic. Yeah, good point. Cheers. No alcohol in it, though, unfortunately. Or pancakes. Yeah, but I guess it just shows, again, highlights some of the flaws in the New Republic, this apparent perfect new galaxy. James Flakes says the Alphabet Squadron books are the ones for you readers out there. Chad, in response to this episode, I love this episode. Great world building, in-universe episode, crappy Mando episode, however. Be interesting to, I've been slacking on your podcast, Chad. I'm sorry, but Chad does have a podcast where he is covering the Mando episodes. Actually, it'll be linked in the Bad Batch video. So if you go there, you'll find the link to his podcast so you can get more of his thoughts on this crappy Mando episode, which he actually really enjoyed. Why is everyone having pancakes? Is it Pancake Day in the UK? No, Peter's in Holland. Jane's in the UK. Is it Pancake Day? Or is it just coincidence? We're all having pancakes tonight. Is it Pancake Day? Hang on. Shrove Tuesday, UK. No, it's February 21st. Month out. I hope you're not eating pancakes from February 21st. Yeah, don't. Okay. Jane Cakes. Gaz Nottingham's here as well, I can see. I feel like Mando, this is Chad now, I feel like Mando is basically in a nowhere spot, but now between this and Bad Batch, we moved on to focusing on the major New Republic cloning plot. Maybe, in terms of Mando. I mean, yeah, surely this Mandalore stuff isn't, I wasn't swatting away your opinion there, by the way, there's a little fly. I feel like in some ways they went straight into what we thought would be Mando's big plot thread of this season in terms of returning to Mandalore, bathing in the sacred waters and all that. It was a real surprise for them to dive straight into that. But is it really over? So yeah, we'll see about that nowhere spot. But I do agree with the rest that you're saying there. That seems pretty clear. Hello to Jones Capone. Hope you're doing well. And if you haven't already, people, there is a new episode of Lightspeed tonight live. My bad, I haven't linked to it in the video description, but Jones Capone helped a lot with many of the graphics that you'll see in this episode, which some people have said is the best yet. For me, it's not. For me, it's the worst, but I'm not going to say why because of little technical things that I see when I'm editing all the time. But hey, as long as people like it, that's the main thing. Apparently, John Bon Jovi hated Living on a Prayer, did not think he thought it would be a flop. He was wrong. Haven't quite seen Living on a Prayer results for this episode of Lightspeed tonight, but you never know. Right. Peter wants to know where the fighters and bombers came from for that dogfight. I know. I imagine we're going to find out. There were little hints to Gideon's not whereabouts as such, but he was brought up, wasn't he, for the first time in the season? So I'm sure it's all connected. Power Joy Girl says, I wonder if there's going to be something so awful happen with the clones that brings the very existence of cloning into question, a real moral issue. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not all caught up on the Bad Batch, by the way. I think I mentioned that, didn't I? I haven't seen this week's episode, but I will be catching up soon. Gaz, on the other hand, in regards to the TED Talk from the Doctor in the Opera Theatre Hall thing, not being a TED Talk as such, but more like a showcase example of the rehabilitation of ex-Imperials. And there is agreement from Chad there, and also from Jane. So well done you. People agree with you guys in their numbers, that number being 2. No, I hear that too, so you can have 3. All right, I'm going to give this episode, being Chapter 19, The Convert, I'm going to give it A. This is my highest score so far of this season. I'm going to give it, and I want to know what you're going to give it too, but I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10 and a...
How was it?
Wizard.
Oh, yeah, it's a Manjo, everybody. Thank you to David Milano for making those clips about a couple of years ago now. So, what do you think? Give me your scores, please, out of 10 for The Mandalorian Chapter 19. Glenn, meanwhile, says, I think the talk was a bit of both, a showcase and a TED Talk. And Chad says, the music playing on the planet while they're eating their glowing popsicles is the I can't say that, for X-Wings from Force Awakens. I'm assuming now making that the official New Republic theme. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. I'm going to have to go and check that out. That's interesting stuff there, Chad. That's why people should listen to your podcast, because you provide interesting insights, unlike me. All right, I can see some scores coming in. I'm not sure what Glenn's talking about there. It's a long one. I'm going to focus on the scores for now. And Jones Capone as well. First 5 minutes of the show was peak Star Wars. Middle 50 minutes was a really solid episode of Andor with another 5 minutes of classic Mando at the end. Let's go with 7.5 out of 10. All right, then. We got 8 out of 10 from Glenn, the geeky hippie. We've also got an 8 out of 10 from Power Droid Girl, which was the same score as me. The highest so far is an 8.75 from Gaz Nottingham. I love the bookends, but the galactic exposition was brilliant. Right. Now, you should know by now, Jane has her own scoring system. If you don't, here it is. It's 10 out of 12. Lovely and interesting are words that have been used to describe this episode. And Jane liked the fact it fitted into the greater Star Wars universe and for the B-Katan castle bombing, the BKC. It's gone. It's over. 7 out of 10 from Clays. I like the episode in general, but the pacing of the two themes felt a bit off at first. Be interesting to see what you think on a second viewing, Clays. Maybe you'll nudge that up a bit. Maybe you'll nudge it down. Maybe you'll remain at a 7. Who knows? 7. Matthew Stokes. Manjo from Mr. Stokes. 8.5 for the Mando stuff. 7 for the Pershing stuff. So maybe a 7.67 out of 10 overall. So yeah, some people feel like we do have 2 shows in one here. In one episode anyway. Chad Campbell, big score, 9 out of 10 for me. Could come down over time. It reminded me a lot of Andor. I managed to do a ton of world building that I loved and needed. Now, this is very interesting, everybody. This is a very high score from none other than Mr. Peter Stubach, who gives it an 8.5 out of 10, which is huge. I can't remember the last time we had a big score from Peter, who was a little bit indifferent to Andor. I think that's fair to say. I know has been enjoying the recent animated stuff like Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi. I don't think you were too keen on Kenobi overall, were you, Peter, from what I remember? So we probably haven't seen scores like this since Mando last had a run out. So an 8.5 from Peter, but I'm somewhat troubled about what next. And should I even care, I think is what Peter's saying there. I'm troubled by the fact that you just gave a really high score, to be honest. And I do care about what comes next in terms of your scoring, Peter. Where do we go from this? Jones Cohen says, she's those poor actors trying to convincingly eat those glowing popsicles. Tough to watch. Glenn also says the Andor feel was strong. Chad adds to kind of what you were saying earlier in terms of Mando being in no man's land. I do think it kind of ended with me not having any idea where things are going. Mando has zero plot or stakes. Let's see. Not going to completely disagree with you as things stand, but let's see. All right, I think I've caught up with the comments. So I'll give it a couple of minutes for any final ones. If you haven't already, please go and watch, the new episode of the Lightspeed Tonight. It's called Dooku and the Separatists. So we're firmly in the Attack of the Clones timeline. It's out there. It's, as always, not got very many views, but good engagement and feedback from those who are watching it. So thank you very much. And if you do watch it, please watch it all the way through, even if you don't want to. Just leave it in the background or something, because that's really apparently one of the most important metrics on YouTube of attention and also engagement in terms of likes and comments. So if you can do all of those three things, great, but just one of them would be fantastic too. So behind, I've got loads more in the can, as they say, that I recorded before coming away again. That one that's just gone live, I actually recorded well over a year ago, but I also recorded some in September. And for the first time, Vince, who writes them pretty much, with me, but he's, without him, we would not have the show in terms of the writing quality. He, for the first time, because remember, this was an early pandemic idea, was actually with me when I shot the next batch. So I've got a feeling they're going to be the best yet. And if all goes well with the next one I'll be releasing, there'll be an interesting cameo as well. So with having Vince there in person, being able to help me and also, help Wimeras and also direct Wimeras, because don't forget, he's doing his own stuff. He's doing the cameras, all the lighting, everything. So having an extra pair of hands for the first time is great. So after the episode that's just gone out, hopefully you'll see an improvement in terms of quality. So anyway, enough of that. Thank you very much. I don't think there's been any more. Okay, a couple more. Glenn, I saw this. I don't really know. Glenn asks, why is it that female Mandos are the only ones to use the angled T-visors when it gives a better field of view? Are the male Mandos that much into hindering themselves visually during combat? Does anybody know? Jane Flakes, I have just convinced a dear friend to watch Mando. She's got to Book of Boba Fett and is less convinced by that, but looks forward to Mando. I still think Mando's... I would personally always want people to go and watch the movies first, but I think Mando's a great entry point for Star Wars. Easy to get into, easy to follow. Sure, you're going to miss out on some details if you haven't seen the movies. Even I miss out on some details having not read certain books and not be fully caught up with certain TV series. But yeah, I still think it's one of the best entry points, safest entry points. Matthew Stokes says, Bo-Katan being a member of the Children of the Watch and knowing of the existence of the Mythosaur and having the Darksaber within reach. That's the finale, in my opinion. Yeah, because she was quizzing Din, wasn't she, about, did you see anything in there? Anything aligned? Yeah. So there is more. I think you're right there, Matthew. You're right there. So hopefully that gives Chad some hope. There is more in terms of stakes, in terms of Mando's storyline. All right, everybody. I think... I can see Chad. He didn't even think about that with the visors. Neither did I. That's why I don't have the answer. And yeah, I can see some Lightspeed Tonight love. Joseph Capone, heavily involved with this episode. So again, thank you very much. Go and enjoy his photoshopping. The good stuff's by him. The average stuff, bad stuff is by me. Jane Flake says, frankly, Let's Be Tonight was the best yet. The satire is biting and brilliantly written. Well done, Jamie and Vince. Thank you very much, Jane. And you're right, Jones. Don't forget to smash that bloody like button, everybody, before you say goodbye to the stream, before you start waving, which will be happening very, very soon. Glenn enjoyed Lightspeed Tonight as well. Thank you. Powjoy Girl says, Glenn, Grogu. Do you mean Glenn and Grogu? No, Glenn. Grogu will subdue the Mythosaur. He's got a talent for it. Chad also says, I love Lightspeed Tonight. Watch it, people. If you have not. And even Peter likes it. Peter's just in a very likable mood at the moment. He likes everything. So I'm not sure that particularly means good things for Lightspeed Tonight. But thank you, Peter. And I said Jane liked it, didn't I? Glenn says, Grogu riding on top of the Mythosaur and then using the Force to take all Mandalorian helmets off them. Could be interesting. Gaz Nottingham asks, will you age up Womeris Watt as you progress through trilogies? Love the last episode. Thanks, Gaz. Well, to be honest, not saying I am Womeris Watt or have any involvement with him, but I don't really, if I was Womeris Watt, I don't really know what I'm doing with makeup and prosthetics. So each time I'm making it up as I go along, do my best to try and match it to what I did before. And I think they all look different. So that could be accidental aging. You'll see with the next episode a difference because this was another batch of recordings. The one that's just gone out was the last one from the previous batch of recordings. So yeah, I think it's happening accidentally. But hey, hopefully one day, you never know, if I stick with it. And I do plan with the next one to, because of a couple of things that I think make it a bit of a standout, I do plan to really try and push it for the first time, actually. Really try and push it, send it out to websites and people. So you never know, if it gets a following and starts, bringing some ad revenue in and all that, then eventually it'd be great to have somebody do that for Womeris, the makeup and stuff. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I think we'll call it a day. So I will be back. We'll be back to normal Thursdays next week. Hey, Chad, it's not in my contract. In fact, there's no mention in the contract about Womeris Watt. So perhaps nobody can stop me, fire me, terminate the contract if I did show up to Celebration as Womeris Watt. But we're not the same people, so obviously that's not going to happen, eh? But yeah, back to Thursday next week. Similar time to this seems to be the best time for people on different time zones. I can't please everyone, let alone myself. So, right. Thank you, everybody. We'll be here Thursday. I'm going to hit end broadcast now. I love you all, baby. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. And look, just at the end, Chris from Explaining Computers is here. Just found the stream. You didn't get a notification. I'm sorry, Chris. I scheduled it a few hours ago, so I don't know why that is. I kind of scheduled it at the normal time I scheduled it. So I'm not sure why that was, but apologies. You're going to have to time travel back, Chris. All right, everybody. I'm hitting the button. So you know what you got to do. I can see Power Droid Girl has started already, as has Glenn. Keep waving. Start and keep watching. No, waving. Keep watching if you're Chris. Go back and then catch up in time, but keep waving. Anyway, I'm ending broadcast. Goodbye, everybody.